Is music permissible or forbidden? Was January 25th a popular revolution or a setup? Was the October 73 war a victory or a partial victory? Was Rafat el-Gamal an Egyptian hero or a double agent on it? Was the Battle of Uhud a triumph? Is Trump a genius or a fool? You see, the questions I've just posed are very logical, and it is actually good for you to have an opinion on them. An answer based on its logic, citations, and implications. However, a mature person and a good, rational interlocutor is one who assumes and permits, and they reserve the right of the other to adopt a second or third opinion or point of view. Today's episode is titled, How Do You Become a good and mature interlocutor? And to draw a red line at the beginning, so I can save you the time of wasting it with me. If you see in any of the questions I started the episode with that there is right and wrong, truth and falsehood, then surely this episode will not benefit you, nor will it suit your inclinations, because the foundation upon which a good interlocutor builds their personality in a discussion is respecting the right of their opponent or peer to hold another point of view. I mean, for us to have a dialogue, you must believe in my right to have a point of view different from yours, no matter how right you think yours is. My point of view, which might even be correct if I, as an interlocutor, have a different logic, or if I have information you are missing, or perhaps I have some flaw in my thinking regarding this issue, due to overpowering emotion, narrow-mindedness, or a lack of knowledge. If you are not convinced of this set, and you see that the other person is misguided or straying, simply because they see things differently than you do, misguided, straying, necessarily driven by personal agenda, then why would you even talk to me? You would just be coming to teach me and raise me, not to engage in dialogue and discuss things with me. Before we talk about the qualities of a mature interlocutor, let's ask, why do we even have a dialogue in the first place? What is the purpose of dialogue? The reason we talk to each other in life. You and your wife, you and your friend, you and your partner, you and your boss, and anyone you talk to. Why do you talk to them? When we engage in a dialogue, when we discuss a certain issue, we do so for a goal. What is it? And is that goal clear to you? For example, if we are talking about football, is my goal as a Zamalek fan speaking to an Al-Ahli fan, after 15 or 30-minute discussion, or even a whole day and night, to change your football affiliation? And if we are talking about politics, is the goal of the dialogue to change your political ideological stance, or for me to make you love someone, or you are discussing things with your husband, is the goal for him to make you see him as an angel? We would be naive to think that. So what is the goal behind all this aggravation and chatter since the goal isn't for the distant one to finally understand? That is, of course, assuming that we are the close ones and we are the ones who understand. What is the goal? Why do we talk? Why do we discuss an issue we disagree on? And why do we go back and forth on it? What is the goal? Goal is to broaden your view of your interlocutor. You might say, well, isn't one of the goals of dialogue to adjust a conviction, or the idea of persuading the other party to see my point of view? I tell you, is naturally important in dialogue. But life and experience have taught us that no one can force an idea into someone else's head against their will. So you are required, mind you, required to know the limits of your rights, the limits of your expectations, and therefore you have no choice while you are speaking but to engage in mature dialogue. So what is the opposite of dialogue? What is the opposite of dialogue? The opposite of dialogue is base arguing. Arguing in its best definitions. Arguing in general, forget the base part. Arguing in its best definition is a type of negotiation. And negotiation and persuasion have other tools. There are specialists better than me to talk about them. But dialogue has a different goal. I am not negotiating with my wife when we talk and discuss things. We are understanding more. We are helping each other to understand more. And this is impossible if I am of the mindset that I only show you what I see, or that whoever is with me is a Satan, whoever is against me is a devil, or that if you agree, then you respect me, and if you don't agree with my point of view or you oppose it, then you don't respect me. Is kind of intolerance only found in our Arab societies? Intolerance exists everywhere, and people don't sit in dialogue everywhere, but as a general culture, we have a problem with the give and take of dialogue. Linguistically, dialogue means reviewing speech, meaning a review of speech between two or more parties without the necessity of enmity between them. It is a review of words, not an attack on positions. We agreed that this is dialogue. If you see it differently, stop the episode. This talk won't help you. If you want to take and give with me in this episode, so we know how to conduct a good dialogue without burning ourselves out, let me tell you a set of lessons. The first lesson says that to be a good conversationalist, listen well. Listen. Listening means having your ears open and your mind open. Words should enter your brain, not just stay at the ear. But if your brain is busy, how will you respond? Listen well, understand well, then speak later. Our problem is always that the urge to speak dominates us. We interrupt whoever is speaking just to talk. When eyes look at you while you talk, when you interrupt and take the floor to speak, a piece inside you twitches, your ego inflates. So from the very first word, the person in front of you is talking and you want to cut him off. Yes, you are waiting for that moment. And you have your arguments. You know what they're saying? You've arrived. You've reached it. Wrong. You don't understand anything. Buenista. Just give me the floor. The point is for you to speak, not to listen and try to understand what the other person is saying. Even if the words sound strange to me. Or don't align with the thoughts in my head. And by the way, this is a human nature. That I jump on the conversation and try to impose my point of view. This is a nature in us that needs refining, upbringing, and education. Something we must teach ourselves that silence has dignity, and listening and understanding are traits of the wise. You will tell me, man, he's just saying nonsense, an empty talk. Do you want me? You want me to understand what this guy is rambling about? Understand what he is basing his nonsense on, my friend. What logic does he see? Where does he understand it from? Your master, the prophet, my master and your master, peace be upon him and his family. There isn't a person in the world who's a believer with the conviction the Prophet Muhammad had in what he possessed. Do you have any doubt about that? There is no doubt. As long as you are Muslim, there is no doubt. He was more certain than any of us. Yet he could sit and listen and engage in dialogue with someone telling him, why don't you just leave what's on your mind, Muhammad? Leave what's in your head. And the trouble you're causing us in the region and among the Quraysh. You keep separating a son from his brother and a woman from her husband. Isn't that what they used to say? It happened that someone went to him and said, stop this talk, this discord, and we'll take care of you. We want to bring you into our assembly, the Dar al-Nadwa. You will be the leader. Don't worry about money. We will give you until you are the richest among us. Just be satisfied. Point to the most beautiful woman among us, and we will arrange your marriage to her. What do you think of this talk? What do you think of this talk? When it is said to a man who is calling, his faith has nothing to do with such things at all. For them to come and find someone sitting before them for a period of time, he says to them, cutting off the prophet's honor. It is speech and claims directed at our master, the prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. Completely foreign out of context. It could even be considered an insult. How do you see me? The prophet could have said that to him. Yet the prophet, peace be upon him and his family, listened until the end. And when the man finished his empty talk, my master and yours, he said to him, have you finished, Abu Walid? Are you done with what you have? He replied, yes. He said, then listen to me. And he began to speak his words. He began to explain again There would have been nothing easier than saying, man, it's not like that. No. Our master, the Prophet, was mature and wise. I will listen to you, and I will focus. And until you finish, then it becomes my right to speak, respond, and discuss. This civilized level is the first piece of advice. Curbed the urge to speak and interrupt. Try to listen while the other is speaking. Try to understand what he is saying and why. Don't prepare your responses so that when you speak, you say something valuable and no one interrupts you. Not at all. Speak in a calm manner. And if the person before you, after you have listened and thought about their words, if something is missing, you ask them about it, discuss it, and inquire. If someone interrupts you after that, be completely silent. This is a method. By the way, a method for when someone keeps interrupting often. When you are mature and listening, if someone interrupts you, be silent. Let him discover that he is talking and responding to himself. But what you should not do is accept that you speak while they're speaking. You know, that cockfight style where both are talking. That is wrong. That is the real nonsense. So the first advice is listen and understand, and don't prepare a reply. Understand why first. Because if it's about a goal, the goal we mentioned for the dialogue, if the goal of a conversation is to discuss and reveal aspects of the truth, we must listen more than we talk. And we must understand before we speak. The second piece of advice, adjust your language and synonyms. A mature conversationalist doesn't roast others, nor is their goal to prove themselves right. And it's not on their mind to make the other person look ignorant. That's what roasting is. That's why you'll find that a mature person, when someone is reasonable, and you're talking to a reasonable person, will say, this is my opinion, this is my point of view, and this is how I see it. Meaning my words are my personal conviction. If you'd like to hear them, you're welcome to. And if not, that's fine. This applies to art, soccer, life, the world, and even religion. Wait, what? Religion is religion. Are there points of view on religion, Karim? The truth is, it's your understanding of religion that has points of view. So the evidence you see is strong. I might see that I have something stronger. I don't want to give examples, by the way, because I know some people will leave the whole episode, disagree with what I'm saying, and get into a fight with me over the example. And this shows you how important the subject we're discussing is. What we're saying isn't a luxury. These aren't just topics for intellectuals. We need these topics when we're discussing things with our kids. We must listen to them to understand them. Listen to me, my friend. Listen to me, my friend. People need someone to empathize with them before they need someone to understand them. Your child needs you to empathize with them before they need you to understand them. Your wife, your friend, your colleague, your manager, those under your management, empathize with these people, even if they are wrong. Just empathize with them first. And then start to help them understand. They become much more receptive to advice when they know you've empathized with them. This puts your mind at ease. It gains you ground. And it keeps your disagreements always about the topics, not the people. The second advice says, always, while you're speaking, don't make the issue personal. And this starts with choosing language and synonyms that keep the topic in its proper scale and keeps your opinion in its proper scale. But my opinion, my point of view, my vision, and my experience say so. Nothing more and nothing less. The poet Ibn al-Rumi said long ago, explaining that playing with words can make the beautiful ugly and the ugly beautiful. He says, in the adornment of speech, there is an advantage for the speaker. In the adornment of speech, there is an advantage for the speaker, and the truth may be stubbed to some change. You say this is bee's nectar. If you want to praise it, honey. If you want to praise it, you say this is bee's nectar. And if you want to criticize it, you say this is wasp's vomit. Both are praise and blame, yet you haven't gone beyond describing them. Both are correct. The magic of eloquence makes darkness appear as light. And how many times has the truth been turned into falsehood with the tongue? And how many times has falsehood been followed due to the magic of the tongue? And how many things have we praised with logic and criticized with the same logic, but it was the logic of whims, not the logic of truth? Your synonyms and language can be a blade that cuts any conversation short. It can be a blessing, and it can be a disaster. So, dress your thoughts in beautiful expressive garments. The third piece of advice: save time, effort, and energy by mentioning areas of agreement and only the point you differ on when conversing with someone. For instance, my wife and I are disagreeing about something. My friend and I disagree on an issue. The right way is to state what we agree on while I'm talking, and it's even better if you take this point from your wife's or husband's own words. For example, I agree. I completely agree that I've been irritable lately, and I agree with you that this isn't right. And I agree with you that it shouldn't have happened like that. But could we ask why? Do you see this phrase? This phrase simply confirms I agree. When you state the points of agreement, the things we both see eye to eye on, and then you go on to explain your point of objection, the truth is you save yourself a tiring journey. You've eased the tension. You've presented yourself as someone looking for common ground and a solution. And you've made the other person, the one in front of you, feel that you understand why they are saying what they are saying. So, I'm not rejecting everything you're saying entirely or in its entirety. I have an objection to the final conclusion or to a specific point. Agreeing with the person you're debating or confirming part of their point of view gives the other party the impression that you aren't playing aggressively, that you are playing fairly. This fosters respect from the listener toward you, and it saves a great deal of exhaustion and heartache. The fourth piece of advice concerns your intelligence in setting the ceiling for your expectations and demands in a dialogue. What does that mean? It means the person I am talking to, whether a friend, a husband, or a wife, it doesn't matter, has an opinion, a judgment, or a certain conclusion. I am discussing it with them, right? The people you speak with are one of three types. Either they agree with you, or they are against you, or they are neutral, meaning they are neither with you nor against you. So what is the difference between them? Let's see. First, the person against you completely rejects your personality, your ideology, or your convictions. A rejection based on their existential logic. So here you are going head to head, negative and positive, while the neutral person is not with you, but not against you. They are willing to listen, but won't promise to be convinced. And the third agrees with you and believes in what you believe in. You're both Zamalek fans, you're both Sunnis, you're both Shias, you're both in the same party. You are in agreement. While negotiation experts say to define your goal while you are talking, you must define your goal for the one against you. That's their advice. Don't enter a dialogue with them with the goal of making them change their mind. You'll be wasting your breath. There's no one who shifts from right to left except rarely. Of course, there are rare cases, but... And they usually had doubts in their mind beforehand. Or you shed light on a spot that was very dark, but naturally, I haven't seen a dialogue where a Sunni became a Shia, or an Ali fan became a Zamalek, or someone who is short-tempered became calm. We don't see it. I haven't found it. So what is your goal? Your goal becomes to neutralize them, to make them fall into the neutral category. I don't want you to believe in my point of view, not at all. My goal is for you to reconsider your point of view, and I will reconsider my point of view. And even if we don't agree, I want you to accept that my point of view has value aspects. Just leave it at that. Don't make an enemy out of them. As for the neutral person, the one who is neither for you nor against you, make your goal to persuade them of your view. Why? Because they will be receptive to it. Because they don't belong to the other camp. They haven't taken a stance against you. Persuading them can be done with logic that isn't devoid of emotion, or it can be with emotion that isn't devoid of logic, depending on their personality. As for the third type, the already convinced one, I have no problem with them other than deepening their conviction. I mean, if I'm in a political party or a preacher, or I want people to believe what I say while I'm speaking, some people listening to me now like me, and they see that I'm a rational man saying rational things. My role with them is to strengthen this conviction and add something new to this conviction. A very big problem is that while we are debating, we want the person to leave the box they are in and come stand with us in the same box. I want my wife to, and you want your husband to, and you want your interlocutor or opponent to abandon their position and adopt yours. That is neither logical nor practical. Why do we get tired when talking to people? Because we want people to change. No one can change anyone else. Peace be upon him. In his relationship with his uncle, Abu Talib, it is established that Abu Talib loved his nephew Muhammad. His behavior proves it. And Muhammad loved Abu Talib. Do you have any doubt? All evidence and narrations prove that. Then why didn't he convince him? It's a matter of heaven and hell, after all. Therefore, if the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, could not, force people to change their positions. And this is someone where the love and affection, where present the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not see it as a personal matter. Consequently, his goal was just for the uncle to be neutral. He was trying to bring him over to his side, but in the end, he was content with that. He tried until his last day, even as he was dying. He tried to persuade him, and the man was not convinced. The bottom line here is that achieving a result through your dialogue is realized by certain reasons, including setting a realistic goal that fits the type of person in front of you, follow and the thoughts and opinions inside people's heads, and realizing that shifting them is harder, much harder than shifting the Sphinx itself. So it must be done with realism, objectivity, and patience. The fifth piece of advice: put your nerves in a freezer. I swear to God, I am embarrassed to say it, but I must say it. I am a hot-blooded man. I am a farmer, yes, but my temperament is like that of the Upper Egyptians. I am hot-blooded, impatient, and short-tempered. And I won't lie to you. I won't lie. Sometimes you find my emotions get ahead of me. And because I'm silver-tongued, I know how to get out of a discussion without anyone blaming me. And the result is that I might overwhelm the person in front of me. But deep down, I know he didn't love me or was afraid of me, or that a gap formed between us. And this is a sin. A sin. I'm sorry. I'm unfortunately sad that I fall into it. I am a bare electric wire. You know a bare electric wire? I am like it. If you get close to it, you jump. If you touch it, you jump. I don't want anyone to tell me, so how are you advising us on something you suffer from yourself? Believe me, my friend, sometimes the person who knows the value of health most is the one who is ill. The person who knows the value of a sound mind most is the one who is erratic. May God grant us and you wisdom, the wisdom of understanding and learning how to put our nerves in a fridge. You are supposed to be composed to the point that no one can strip you of your dignity and respect. And if that happens, you apologize and try to learn and strive so it doesn't happen again. Churchill, the British Prime Minister, that clever man who used to hold a cigar and was stout. That man was once going up the stairs when he met an opponent, a political opponent. After the World War, which he won, he lost in the elections, and his political position had its ups and downs. Anyway, Churchill was going up the stairs and his opponent was coming down with journalists standing by. So his opponent wanted to deliver a stinging retort right to his face. He was coming down and the man was large bodied and the stairs were narrow, so one of them had to, step aside for the other to pass. The other one came down chest out and said to him, "Sorry, my father taught me never to make way for dogs." What did Churchill say to him? He said, "Oh, how strange. That's the exact opposite of my father's advice," and he stepped aside for him. The man walked past. The greatest comeback is the one where you don't even intend to be biting. And that won't happen unless your nerves are in a fridge. Whether you are debating, arguing, or bickering about anything, try to keep your nerves in a fridge. Conversations happen with someone whose only relationship with the brain is that a sandwich costs 50 pounds and it raises cholesterol. The Quran told you that there are people for whom what they found their predecessors doing is the standard. Their forefathers are more important than logic and evidence, and there are people for whom the word of the elite and notables is above any other word, even if it has clear flaws. Where will you go with these people? Are you going to fight and waste your life? Your face turns red, you get high blood pressure, and you collapse? Put your nerves in a fridge. Conversations will happen with someone who thinks you don't even have the right to have a point of view in the first place. I swear to God, these people exist. And there are people whose thoughts you feel are cast into their head, stuck there. And most people take this. Most people, most of them, are content with their opinions and their positions and their customs. I mean, it's not that he's convinced. He just can't say, I was being fooled all this time. He can't say it. So he refuses to change his position. For instance, Abu Talib, the Prophet's uncle, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, said, I can't. Do you want Quraysh to taunt me saying I changed my religion? Or that I went senile as I was dying? Or that I changed the stance I held all my life? There are illogical things that make people hold on to their opinions. Put your nerves in a fridge. Define your goal. Work on it or withdraw. Withdraw. The important thing is not to lose your temper. And that starts with observing yourself. Observe yourself and take a breath before you respond. Be aware of changes in your mental and emotional state. Watch yours so you don't lose control, like happens to me. Everything improves with practice. I am practicing, and I hope you will give me. The last thing is that winning hearts is more important than winning arguments. Listen to me. Building relationships is hard, but destroying them happens in the blink of an eye. With a smirk or a cynical half smile. Don't forget this and let your ego take over. Thinking you're right and they're wrong, so you start to overwhelm them with words. No, not at all. Never let your victory in an argument make you forget that your method is wrong and will cost you not just a dialogue, for you might have silenced them, but it will cost you the heart of the person you're debating. We are in an era of destroying others, and unfortunately we celebrate those who tear others down. So what's the result? Charged spirits of resentment and losses everywhere. Even in the comments. Look at the comments on my post. Look at the comments. Look. You will find many strange people. You're an idiot. You don't understand it. You don't even know what you're saying. What are you here to say? Why are you even here? What's the point? If you don't like what someone says, just leave. No, we must destroy them, teach them, and set them straight. Go on, feminist. Go on, simp. Go on, extremist. Go on. You who don't know your religion. I see all of that, and I just hide or block them. My friend, set a goal for yourself. I won't flatter, I won't be a hypocrite, and I won't be soft. I had a friend. Every time I argued with him or watched him argue with others, he would always say what? Look, I'm neither for nor against. I don't like spineless people.